I'm going to introduce you to Pippa. I'm going to tell you a bit about what Pippa does, and I'm going to show you how to install the Pippa that you may have just received. So you may have ordered the Pippa yourself. It may have been a gift from someone maybe, or you may have received it from your insurance company. So this is what you'll get through the post. If we turn the box over, we can see here, this is the Pippa security tag. If we just gently take a knife, slide through there, we can open up the box and we see what's inside. So here's our Pippa. Here's the instructions, so this will tell us everything that we're going through in this video. Do check those carefully. And here's an alcohol disinfectant pad, which we're going to use to help clean the area where we're going to stick the Pippa up, and we'll show you how to do that in a moment. So let's have a look at Pippa first. So Pippa has a little sensor here. It's a thermal sensor, and what that does is that lets Pippa see the temperature of the different pans on your stove. So Pippa can then tell, for example, if the oil is likely to ignite, or if you've been boiling something, it's boiled dry, which could then burn and start a fire. It can also tell whether you've taken a pan off the stove and you've left the stove on. If any of these hazards happen, these can become house fires. But Pippa will tell you before they have a chance to start a fire. And that protects you and it protects your property. If we turn the Pippa over, we can see there is a little sticky pad that we're going to use to stick the Pippa to the wall. There's the Pippa ID here, which you may need to use later if you want to register the Pippa or to make any modifications, for example, where Pippa sends messages to. And we've got a little tab here, and this is the tab we need to pull to activate the Pippa. And when we pull this, Pippa will speak a welcome message, and that also just confirms that Pippa's working and the batteries are in good condition.
Thank you for installing the Pippa stove monitor. Please remember that stoves can be dangerous if left unattended. Pippa is not a substitute for careful stove use.
So there's just a warning there. Do remember, even though you may have a Pippa, it's still important that you do monitor your stove. Don't leave cooking unattended just because you think the Pippa will warn you if there's a hazard. So I've identified a spot above my stove. So this is the wall behind the stove, just underneath the cooker hood. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a place that's right in the middle of the stove, just below the hood. And now I'm going to clean it very carefully. Now this is very important because Pippa sticks up to the wall. We need to make sure that whatever she sticks to is nice and clean and dry. So even if the rest of your kitchen's quite clean, you can often find this little bit up here sometimes gets neglected, could have cooking grease on it. And we're going to remove that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just use a kitchen wipe. I'm going to give that quite a thorough clean. It's quite clean here already, but let's just make sure that area around there is super nice and clean so that Pippa's got something to stick to. Okay, and now I'm going to dry that off with this is just a piece of kitchen paper. So let's remove all of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the alcohol pad that came with the Pippa, and I'm going to open this up. Okay, and in here it's the same thing that the doctor might use to clean you if you had a graze or something. And we're just going to take that and we're going to wipe off here. And what the alcohol pad does is it removes any residual grease that might be on there. Let's make sure that's super nice and clean. Okay, and I'm going to take the kitchen paper again. I'm going to wipe that off and make sure it's nice and dry. So now I've got a nice clean dry surface to stick the Pippa to. Okay, so here's my Pippa. I'm going to pull off the little tab on the back so you can now see this is the sticky pad that's going to stick the Pippa up. And I'm going to line Pippa up. Okay, and before I press it on, I'm going to make sure it's right in the middle and it's nice and straight, just under the hood, and then push it on nice and firmly. Now, if you haven't got a cooker hood, still stick it to the wall behind your stove and measure a height of about 2 foot 6 inches or 75 centimetres above your cooker. Again, central, and just stick it up. Now, Pippa here should be nice and secure, so I can tug that. She'll, be a slight wobble, but there's no way that's coming off the wall. Okay. Now, if you do want to remove a Pippa, for example, to change the batteries, what you do is you simply push Pippa to the right. The little tab stays in the wall. I can now change these batteries and put Pippa back up again. Now, if you want to change the batteries, you can just poke something in there and put them out. You can just tap them out, and the batteries will pop out. So Put Pippa back
Thank
up.
you for installing the Pippa stove monitor. Thank you for installing the Pippa stove monitor. Please remember that stoves can be dangerous if left unattended. Pippa is not a substitute for careful stove use.
So there we go, Pippa's now all set up and she's monitoring your stove. Now if you received your Pippa from your insurance company, your Pippa will probably have already been registered to your phone. So what that means is you don't have to do anything. If she's connected, she doesn't connect to your Wi-Fi. If Pippa detects a hazard, she knows what your phone number is and she'll automatically phone and text that number. If that hasn't happened, then you need to go to either install the app or you need to go to accounts.mypippa.me and follow the instructions to set your Pippa up.